First at 4, Dominick DiPaolo. He's a former Erie detective turned pretty well-known author.
Turned judge.
Turned judge. Yeah. Thanks so much for coming here. Welcome into First at 4.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I know you were in when I was doing the news. I think you came in and we chatted about this book because you wrote it in 2014. It's
That's
been around
correct.
for a while,
Yep.
but it's sold well. It's very popular. People have loved it, and so you're still talking about it.
Right. We're still, it's amazing. Like I said, we wrote it in 2014, and we're still getting Amazon requests every day, every month. We're still getting different places to come and talk.
Yeah.
And 16,000 copies sold?
Around 16,
Wow.
right.
Quickly, give the synopsis if someone hasn't heard about it. And we're going to talk about the speaker series coming up next week. But the unholy murder of Ash Wednesday. Give us just a little synopsis.
Basically, it was a murder that occurred in 1983 in Erie. It was a contract
for a fire truck,
basically the people
and they
that
washed
put
the
it
whole
together
scene
were
down.
all Erie people, all what we called wise guys, all convicted criminals, and they turned a plot together to kill one of the bookies in town, a guy by the name of Frank Dobishaw, who went by the name of Ash Wednesday. And the reason why they called him Ash Wednesday, he had a birthmark in the middle of his forehead, as we have in the front of the book. He was doing about $200,000 a week in gambling, in sports, and they found out that he had his stash of money that he kept in a bank, and he kept in a safety deposit box. Well, everybody would think that would be a pretty safe place to have it, but somebody had got to a woman that worked in the bank, and she went along with the deal. They had a fella that they brought in from Cleveland, Ohio, who was a hitman, who actually killed Dobishaw.
Wow.
And before he killed him, he had to make sure that he got the keys to the safety deposit box. And then that was turned over to a guy by the name of Cesar Montevecchio. And then Montevecchio turned him over to a guy by the name of Anthony Arnone. Anthony Arnone is the one that had the inn at the bank. It was his first cousin.
Wow.
A woman by the name of Teresa Mastry, and she was the assistant bank manager. They were able to open the box up and clean out the box, and there was accordingly to Ray Ferrito, who was Dobishaw's partner, about $500,000 in cash.
It sounds so much like Erie anyway. This person was cousins with this person,
Yeah, well, it
this
is,
person
yeah.
from work,
Right.
and oh my
Right.
goodness.
And the fun thing when you read, not fun, but the interesting part when you read this book is that it is all the Erie landmarks, and you recognize the names and the places.
Oh, sure.
And when you talk about they were driving from here to there, it's like, oh, I understand this.
see it.
So as you're reading it, yeah, you can kind of recreate it in your mind. So the fun part about discussing this book, and that's happening next Wednesday at the East Side Y. It's a speaker series called Erie's Goodfellas.
Right.
And this is a perfect book that
Right.
falls underneath
Right.
that genre.
There's 455 names in the book.
Wow.
Majority are Erie people. Few people from out of town. The actual killer was from Cleveland. He was from the Cleveland mob.
Oh, wow.
But they farm him out as an independent, more or less.
And you've done these types of discussions before. What are most readers most interested about, to pick your brain? What do they most want to know about
A
this?
lot of them go through the book if they already have it, and they see the names, and they want to know what was this guy involved in, or what was this guy was my neighbor. They're very curious about the names in the book, and I tell them all the time, all the names in the book aren't people that did something wrong. I mean, it could have been somebody that I talked to during the investigation that worked
Sure.
someplace.
Yeah.
But everybody, when they see the names in the book,
Yeah.
that's what they ask
Yeah,
about.
it's very interesting. Now, you do have something else that you've written. Just
Right.
real quick, we're starting to run
Real
out of
quick,
time, but go ahead and plug
I just
that.
wrote a book. It's called What Rats Will Do.
Ooh.
It's about the criminal justice system in Erie, basically how it fell down in court. And what I mean by fell down, jury trials that should have been convictions that weren't. There was parts played by the DA, by the assistant DAs. things of that nature.
Very interesting.
All
I
wrapped
know
up
that
into one.
This is going to be available Wednesday at the Erie's Goodfellas
Yes,
Talk for
and
$25.
so will this one.
And so will this one. So you'll
Right.
have a chance if you've not read
Rats
this
will
yet.
do.
What Rats will do. Cronyism at its worst.
You're really good at naming these things.
Thank you.
You've done such wonderful work, and we appreciate you coming on here at First at 4.
Thank you very
spending
much
some
for
time
having
with us
me.
this afternoon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.